Hey everyone! Today I will go through all the features of IcePoint AI. It is an AI testing solution that fully learns your application, generates test cases, automates them, runs those tests, and then analyzes those results. Let's do it. So let's have IcePoint AI create tests for us. First, we have this custom CRM app we created, and we have a new lead page which we want to have test cases for. We go back to IcePoint, click on that test, and we specify a type of test we want to create. Create a new lead with Japanese first, last, and company names, but use USA address. Save it and verify in lead table. We save, click generate steps, and this is where the IcePoint AI part comes into play. It will actually look at the summary and expand it into step-by-step test case by using its pre-trained knowledge of the CRM application as well as its own AI algorithm. So we can see that created detailed steps with the Japanese first last name company, USA address, saves it, and verifies in the table. Excellent. Now let's automate this test case by clicking on the Automate Steps button. Now this is where the other part of AI comes into play. It is actually going to go through those steps that we have listed in the test case itself one by one and automate them by creating a script at the end. It is a very complicated and process because it's not just looking for individual objects. It's actually looking at the entire business objective and screen. So for example, when it's working with a table, it's not just looking for individual elements of the table, but it's looking for the entire row itself. So this type of ability where it's able to automate pretty much any type of interface, including charts, custom tables, etc., without any issues. And now it is on its final stop of verifying the actual table row with the data we just created. And it will be able to say, yes, the test case is automated. So now we have created an automated test case just in a few minutes. But we can actually create a lot of test cases really fast to make sure to fill out the rest of the test coverage for it. So for example, for new lead, we have this test creator where it will now create individual summary test cases to use them for smoke or regression testing, which allows the tester to come up with more of interesting scenarios rather than something standard. So here's all the test cases that AI came up with for the new lead. It has the new lead model, website, address information. We can just promote it, generate steps, and automate steps. So this is going to be a very fast way to do a test coverage, but also allows the tester to create very interesting scenarios as well. But of course, now the question is, how does it know this CRM application? And this is where iScore comes into play. Let me show it to you. iScore data is where all the trained knowledge is stored. And for example, we have this new lead page that we have created earlier. And under it, we have fields like first name, last name, what kind of type it is. It's a text field, what its objectives, whether it's required or not, and things like that. And the way this entire iScore data was generated is using iCelab, where we have a friendly train button and we specify the URL we want to go to. And let's say we want to add accounts to our iScore right now, which is not there presently. We start recording. And right now it's gathering all the data about this page, the DOM data, the visual GUI, a lot of things. And when I go back to the lab and click on generate iScore data, now it's taking the current context of how application works, how this window, the accounts look like, and it will generate an output which can be used and promoted to iScore data. So here we have section accounts, we have all the buttons, we have the table with all the columns and what they do, their business objectives, the values it accepts. And if I click on promote current, it will now transfer this into the iScore current data. Now, the interesting side effect of all of this is now that we have iScore with the full knowledge of your application, we can actually chat about it and ask it questions like, what are required fields in new lead page? And it will use that iScore data to give you that answer. So for example, it says last name and company text fields. Those are the required. Now, the next step is we have test cases automated. We have iScore that knows everything about the application. We need to run those tests. And this is where test runs are. So let me show you how that works. So here's an example of a test run. We already had test cases added here and executed. And if we want to run them again, we can just select them, click on run, and it will execute, just like when you saw when the test case was being automated. But the most interesting thing about this test run is the analysis of result. So we see here that the test case has failed. And now we have AI analyst come into play and analyze this, why the failure has happened. We have purposely caused the bug where the phone input field disappeared. And because IcePoint has iScore knowledge of how the application works, it sees how the test case functioned before, and as well the GUI how it functions right now, it is able to determine that this is application under test issue, basically a bug, and not a maintenance one. And you're able to see all the screenshots along the way until where the bug has happened. As you can see, it's highlighted in red. So that is a very big advantage where you can debug issues faster, because that's an endless question. Is it a bug or a feature? And of course, all the test runs can be either executed manually or through your CI/CD, for example, like Jenkins. Now, another page we have is this homepage, which is going to give you a snapshot of where you are with IcePoint. You know, how many test cases you have, how many are automated, new steps generated, are any of them failing, as well as for the past, for example, 7 days, what were the test runs done, how many have failed, passed, and things like that. So you can act on that faster. So that is pretty much IcePoint AI in a nutshell. With IcePoint AI, your testing team will now be at least 10 times more productive, which should also increase a testing coverage of your application, which should be able to do a shift left and accelerate your development. Please contact us and we'll be happy to create a demo which is specific to your application needs. Thank you.